Tonight we're driving a 2021 Kia Telluride. This is a top trim SX all-wheel drive. Starts at around $44,000. This has the Nightfall Edition Package, which is new for 2021. Features 20-inch black alloy wheels, some exterior accents, darker grills, kind of menacing looking, kind of looks good. Let's walk you around this new Telluride, show you what it's like. It's been quite a while since we've driven one of these. This is powered by a 3.8 liter V6. This one is all-wheel drive. It makes 291 horsepower, and that's mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. It has some of the coolest daytime running lights on the market. I love these amber rectangles. They just look so cool in your rearview mirror. And as you may already know, this is one of the most popular 3-row SUVs out there. I heard the other day from a Kia salesman that these things barely leave the transport trailers before they're sold. So a pretty hot item, and I can see why after spending the week with it. It is very nice to live with, hugely spacious, very practical. Check out this third row here. One of the few vehicles in this class with an actually usable space for adults in the third row. For me, this is just a cooler, more desirable minivan. It's got quite a bit of space. It's got some off-road capability. It's an SUV, and even though minivans may be more practical, SUVs are ultimately cooler these days. We've got a little bit of storage underneath here. With the seats down, you just have a ton of space. Class-leading carrying capacity. We have captain's chairs for the second row. Let's fold these up here. And it's very easy to get into the third row. Just press this button, the seat slides forward. And look at this. We have a lot of room back here. This is amazing. I've been in second rows with less space. And with the captain's chairs, you can really stretch out one leg, and very comfortable place to be. You get a little USB Type A port, a couple of cup holders, a really nice view, open airy. These seats aren't too high. They don't impede your vision. Rear climate control, a nice big moonroof, and with the press of a button, you can easily get out. There's even a little grab handle right here to help you with ingress and egress. How awesome is that? And of course, these seats slide way back if you really want them to, but even with the seat all the way back, there's still quite a bit of space in the third row. Look at that. Very nice. Second row room, palatial, very comfortable seats, very nice place to be. I mean, I think the captain's chairs are kind of the way to go with this car, just because it gives you that much more luxury and comfort and usability and access to this full third row seating arrangement. We've got a 115 volt, 150 watt plug outlet, 12 volt cigarette lighter charger, heated and cooled seats in the second row, a little privacy shade, and as you can see, we've got some subtle ambient lighting, kind of dark compared to some of the German competitors, but I think it still adds a nice touch and a luxurious flavor. This car that we're driving tonight is just about 50 grand, including destination, fully loaded, everything. So pretty well priced, honestly. For around $50,000 or less, this is an amazing value. We've got a really nice interior, great materials, easy to use ergonomics, very user-friendly, very comfortable, very quiet, and spacious. Kind of hits all the marks that you'd want from your family SUV. Also, look at the interior LED lighting on this. Very bright, very nice. Let's take a look at this 3.8 liter V6. Gets 19 miles to the gallon in the city, 24 on the highway. Not the best fuel economy. Getting in the front seat, these chairs are exceedingly comfortable, and they look kind of cool too. I like the stitching pattern. We've got a lot of adjustability here with the controls, 2 seat memory settings, auto up and down windows on all 4 corners. You can easily adjust everything, turn on and off your blind spot monitor, your lane keep assist, your gauge cluster illumination, all that good stuff. We have a traditional shifter, some drive mode selectors down here with Smart, Sport, Comfort, Eco, Snow, and four-wheel drive lock, which just locks the power distribution 50-50 front and rear. You can easily turn off your auto stop-start and access your camera view when you're in drive. You've got a nice 360 camera, pretty high res, pretty good nighttime resolution. It'll switch automatically depending on if you're in reverse or you're going forward. Great 360 camera system, one of the better ones on the market. It can't be that hard to do this. Kia really nails it, and so many other manufacturers are just getting it wrong. We have auto climate control, a heated steering wheel, fantastic heated and cooled seats, wireless charging, a couple USB ports here to plug in your phone. This is one of my favorite features in Kia Hyundai products, is this custom button that you can customize to become a number of different things. You can set it to be your phone projection, your Bluetooth audio, all of these different options. Passenger talk, which is always cool. That's a really neat feature if you have a family. You've got people way back in the third row. All you have to do is just press this passenger talk, and it will project your voice throughout the cabin. There's a little microphone up here, and I have a stadium audience. I feel like I'm giving a speech in an auditorium. Very cool. You can turn it off, and it gets a lot quieter. Lots of gimmicky, fun Kia stuff like the sounds of nature, snowy village, ASMR walking. Oh yeah. A lot of fun things to show friends and play around with. We have a Harman Kardon premium sound system, which sounds very good. We might do a sound system test at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that if you're interested. We have a really nice infotainment, a good touchscreen layout, no home button, which is kind of weird, kind of freaks me out, easy to put in, and I want to be able to access home really quickly sometimes, but that's okay. Very responsive, very quick. I like how widescreen this is. It's just an attractive display, and functionally works quite well. I really don't have many ergonomic complaints with this Kia. The only thing is when you've engaged cruise control, it can automatically turn on the highway driving assist, the steering assist, and there's no easy way to turn that off unless if you go into the menus. We'll talk about that later when we go for the drive. Otherwise, in this interior, we have a lot of storage solutions, lots of cup holders, lots of cubbies and places to put things. I mean, everyone has their smartphones these days. Why not give you some great spots to put them where they don't rattle around? Nice size glove box. We have some interesting materials in here. The aluminum finish is really plastic. The wood finish is really just plastic. But I think they've made the touch points that matter very nice and done some cost cutting on areas where maybe you're not touching as much. The shifter feels great. This action, the smoothness of it, the engagement, it's really good. It's like what Audi used to do. And the turn signals, the way everything feels, it's all the buttons and interactions in this cabin have a similar feel and softness and niceness to their tactility. One of those things it's kind of hard to convey through video, but when you go and drive it and experience and feel it, you appreciate the niceness throughout this Telluride and why so many people love to live with these things. I saw one on Auto Trader today for $35,000. It had 93,000 miles, and it was a 2020 Kia Telluride. Someone really liked driving their Telluride. Crazy. All right, speaking of which, let's go for a drive and see what this thing is like on the road. Nicely weighted steering. You've got a couple high points with this SUV that are really worth noting off the bat. Comfort and ride quality and quietness. I am very isolated in this Telluride. I feel very cosseted, very comforted, very relaxed driving this thing. The transmission is smooth, the engine is smooth. There's a little bit of wind noise today because we have 20-mile-an-hour gusts, but normally you wouldn't hear that much. And a big thing that I like that Kia has really worked on with this vehicle is impact noise over potholes and over bumps or expansion joints. It's virtually silent over potholes. It's great. Really nice car to drive in Michigan, where our roads are just a complete disaster. We have highway driving assist. which is, I have a love-hate relationship with it. Sometimes it's fantastic. Like when I'm just cruising on the highway, I love that it can take over the steering. If I want to go in and change my song in Apple CarPlay or do whatever, I can do that. And I have a pretty good amount of trust in this system. It works quite well. If I want to cancel it, turn everything off, I just push the brake pedal or hit the cancel button. Very easy to do, very simple to use. I would like the ability to turn on and off the driver assistance features a little bit better than having to go into this menu in the center display. That's really my only complaint. Otherwise, it works pretty well. On side streets, main roads, it's okay. On the highway is really where it shines. Let's put us into sport mode. Ooh, yes. Let's see what this 3.8 liter V6 and chassis can do around a corner. Oh, yes. In sport mode, we've got a lot more power sent to the rear wheels than we would in eco or smart mode. It's keeping the revs up. No paddle shifters, but we can manually select gears. Oh, yes. When I first drove one of these Tellurides, it may have been a pre-production car, but I couldn't help but feel that in my first impressions of it, the transmission hunted a little bit more than I would like, especially compared to the Hyundai Palisade. But after driving this week, I'm gonna kind of retract my previous statements on the Telluride. I think this transmission is great. There's not a lot of torque to this V6, at least low down. And you know, this is a pretty big SUV to haul around with under 300 horsepower, but it's pretty good. I think it's smooth enough for most drivers. It's not peaky. The throttle response is really well calibrated and tuned for smooth driving, for spirited driving. It does a nice job. Kia did a very good job calibrating and engineering this car to work. It would be nice to have a turbo option, something a little bit quicker, but you know what? I don't think it's necessary, and for the buyers, this has plenty of power for towing. This Telluride also has the rear air suspension, the self-leveling air suspension, and the tow package. Suspension's a little bit floaty over larger bumps, but for the most part, it's supremely comfortable. Comfort is the focus, and I like that they haven't tried to do everything with this new Telluride. It's really well balanced. It handles well enough for a modern vehicle. I mean, if you've got this stuff full of kids and people and stuff, you're not going to want to want to hustle this around anyway. If you want something that's fast and sporty and spirited, save up and get a BMW X5. Otherwise, this is a really, really nice SUV. Alternatives, I mean, it's either this or maybe you want something with some more off-road capability. If you don't need the ground clearance necessarily, this has 8 inches of ground clearance, and it's still got some pretty good off-road chops, especially with these off-road modes and that locking center differential. Ultimately, you're going to be held back by ground clearance and just the fact that this isn't necessarily an off-roady SUV. It's not a body-on-frame. This isn't a Toyota 4Runner. That said, though, if you need to go somewhere where you know, you've got a dirt road and some rocks and here and there, some mud, it'll probably get you through it okay. I love this turn signal camera. It works on both sides, right and left turn signals. Super convenient, super easy. They respond quickly to your inputs. They turn off when you turn off your turn signals. It's the little features and the little additions to this Telluride that add up and make it a really enjoyable ownership and day-to-day experience. Stuff like that, just little thoughtful items, I think are why this Telluride is so popular and so coveted in the current automotive landscape. This has been one of those vehicles this week that has really grown on me the more I've used it and the more I've driven it. I found myself using this for a lot of my daily errands. It's just easy to get in. It's the right size. It's not too big. It's not too small. It's got a lot of space in here. They've done a really good job utilizing the utility of the sport utility vehicle. I think that pretty much sums up my thoughts on what it's like living with this Telluride. There's some features that I haven't really used this week that I haven't covered just because I don't have a lot of experience with them. I mean, reviews are abundant on YouTube on these things. So, but I figured I'd give you guys some thoughts, kind of update you on how I feel about this Telluride. Let's wrap things up there, and I would like to go into a sound system test with this Harman Kardon audio system. Let's walk you around this one more time, and we'll get right into it and listen to some music. Oh yes. It's a little bit boring to drive, it's a little bit bland, but it does everything you need it to, and it's not trying to be anything that it shouldn't be. It's not trying to be sporty, it's not trying to be fast. I think Hyundai did what they needed to do with this Telluride. So let's go into the sound system test. We'll test out this Harman Kardon and see what that sounds like. We've got a couple different soundstage options in our settings. Get started with our track here. Where are we? Go to setup. There we go. So there's an option for bass boost and quantum logic surround. We'll leave both those on, and I think it makes things sound a little bit better, a little bit more dynamic and surround sound like. So comfortable over all these bumps. I love it. I think the only other vehicle that I've driven this year that just takes bumps with such ease is my 4Runner. It's pretty awesome. It gets up and goes when you floor it. You just have to rev it out a little bit. With a bass boost, this thing really bumps. It's a pretty good sound system for Harman Kardon. Around 50 grand. This is very nice. I actually like it a little bit more than the Acura RDX's ELS system. Not as sweet, not as good as the MDX, but that's okay. It's definitely up there. They've done a nice job with this. Alright, hopefully that gives you guys a pretty good idea of the sound system. pretty clear, really nice tones, nice bass level, very powerful. A little bit more of a surround sound echoey effect than some other vehicles, but there is a lot of space and glass in this Telluride, so a lot of surfaces to echo off of, but pretty happy with it living with it last week. Alright guys, I think that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. I've covered just about everything I can think of. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.